Hi everyone, welcome to my book launch. I'm Tadros, the author and founder of For Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy in East Perth, and the author of this book here, 3 Steps to Inspiration for Life. Today I'm going to share in my book launch what my inspiration was behind writing this book, and what the inspiration was behind writing the title, 3 Steps to Inspiration for Life. First, a little bit about me. My name is Bas. Bas is short for Bassem. Bassem is an Arabic name, and it actually comes from the word smiley. So naturally, a smiley person, and that's part of my inspiration in life, is to smile and to help other people smile as well. That's kind of something that's just been passed through, obviously, generations. I didn't choose my name, but somebody chose it for me, but it was quite fitting. So Bassem is my full name, but I've abbreviated to Bas coming to Australia, because obviously Bassem is a bit too hard and a mouthful for a lot of people here. So I'm glad that you're all here. I'm happy to be sharing with you about my book and the inspiration behind my book. So a little bit about me. I was born in Egypt, in Cairo, and as a little boy my parents migrated and moved from Egypt to Cyprus. So I had to start all over again and learn a new language by age 6. And we learnt Greek Cypriot in Cyprus. I was reading and writing, and just as I was getting comfortable, my parents picked me up and migrated again to Australia. By age 9, I've got 3 languages, and English is the one that I'm kind of developing at this stage, and starting again to read and write. And by this stage I started to realize either I'm the odd one out because I'm the only one in my classroom that still can't read and write English, or there's something here, and it's either a blessing or a curse. And at this stage it was actually a pivotal moment in my life, because this is when most people give themselves an either empowering belief system or a disempowering belief system. If I believed I was less intelligent than the people in my classroom, I would have believed that I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not smart enough, and I've got some sort of learning disability, if you like. But instead what I thought about was, this is not by any means a defeat. I'm a 9-year-old who's already traveled 3 different countries, 3 different continents, and 3 different languages. And so this must be, not that I'm better than anybody else, but this must be telling of my life, and that I'm going to have some big life experiences ahead of me. And I realized at this point that life really teaches us to look outside our comfort zone, to adapt to change. Sometimes the change is something that we bring upon ourselves, sometimes the change others bring upon us, like our parents migrating and moving. Or like in your situation, you might choose to leave a career, or somebody might make you redundant. And so the change might be something that you call for, or it might be something that's called for by others. The trick is to learn to adapt. And if you can learn to adapt and give yourself some meaning that is powerful, that gives you a mindset that allows you to move forward in life with more determination, with more gusto for life, then you're giving yourself the right meaning. You see, in life I've also realized that our mind is a meaning-making machine. It's constantly assigning meaning to things. And people that don't get that or don't understand that, they start to think that this is natural and normal for us to be judgmental, or to be picking on certain things, or to be critical of certain things. But when they realize that it's not about being judgmental, and it's not about adding meaning to things or criticizing anybody, yourself or others, it's about compassion. Life is about having compassion for ourselves first and foremost, and then compassion for others. And the reason I say first and foremost it starts here is because if I don't have something, then how can I give it away? If I don't have compassion within me, then how can I offer compassion to others? If I don't have love within me, then how can I offer love to somebody else? If I don't have inspiration within me, then how can I inspire others? And so on the topic of inspiration, this book was born a little while before 2012. I was a young man, going back in time. It's only 5 years ago. And before 2012, I was in the corporate world. I was dealing with all the corporate stress, family stress, and I made a decision to empower myself and to learn to understand my mind and help others. I wasn't yet inspired to change career or to take on a new career that was going to be helping and inspiring others. But I was inspired at this stage to just change my life enough to be able to deal with the corporate stress and the life stress and the family stress. My parents' relationship had ended, my relationship was ending, and it felt like the entire world around me was ending just because that relationship was ending. And so I decided if I could understand my mind and how it works, then perhaps I can make things different in the future. I don't have to repeat the same mistakes. I don't have to make the same mistakes over and over and over again to learn from my mistakes. And so I did a certain program. I learned a little bit about my mind. I released a lot of my own baggage, and the world started to change around me. I had a different outlook, but others had a different outlook on me as well. I was all of a sudden becoming a magnet for people to book meeting rooms and buy me coffee to talk to me about their family or their boss or their stresses. Just because they noticed a sense of change in me, they were craving to be around me so that they could change their life for the better too. It still hadn't dawned on me to change my life or my career. I was just grateful that I changed enough to be not stressed anymore and to be lending a hand to others around me. But my biggest challenge came from family, and one of my sisters was so stressed and unhappy with her life that she became suicidal. And as she started to talk about this venture that she was going into, it was like a nightmare for me. We're only a year apart, and her sadness, her depression, her anxieties that were leading her to such state where she was talking about ending her life caused me to really fire up on all cylinders. I was so fired up that I said, I'm not giving up on her, and I'm not giving up on life. So one night we were out in the street. She's running around trying to kill herself by throwing herself out on the road in front of cars, and I was running helplessly, desperately to save her life. And all that was on my mind at the time was, something's going to change for the better. Just keep her long enough to notice that something's going to change for the better. And so I was risking my own life and throwing myself on the road in front of cars to stop oncoming cars to save her. When the dust had settled and we sat down and had a conversation, I said to her, I'm going to write a book. And this was kind of my revelation to sort of test where she's at this stage. And my sister was an avid reader. She'd read more books than I've ever dreamt of reading in my life. She's one of those people that could pick up a book and by the end of the week it's done, she's ready to read the next one. And she looked at me and she said, what do you know about writing books? You haven't read enough books. And I said, well, that's the truth. And so I need you to promise me that you'd live long enough to edit my book for me, because it's going to need a lot of editing. It's going to need a lot of work. Could you make me that promise? And she said, what are you going to write about? And I said, inspiration. And she said, what's the title of the book? 3 Steps to Inspiration for Life. That's just what came out. And so I stuck with it. Now, I'm one of those people. One of the things that define me in my life is I'm loyal and I'm committed. And when I've got an idea, I'm loyal and I'm committed to that idea. And so the for life part for me was that I'm pro-life. I'm for life. I want people to love life, to continue to hold on to the idea that life is worth loving and living and not giving up on themselves or on others or on life. And so she promised me that she'd hang around. She said, how long are you going to take to write this book? And I said, 3 months. It took a little bit over 4 months, but I wrote the book and gave it to her to edit. She did an okay job editing it, and I self-published. So this is the new edition. This book's been re-released, published professionally, not self-published. And it's in bookstores everywhere, and it's on Amazon. And thankfully, my sister lives on, and she's a great mother, and she's a great person. She's an amazing sister, and she's always actually been an inspiration for me. We're only 12 months apart, and I remember thinking she was my first-year birthday present. And in many ways, she's always been there for me. And so it was by no means a great feat for me to try and work and help her or give her inspiration, because for me, I would give up my own life to save her. So I wouldn't say that faint-heartedly or just as a passing comment or remark. I actually mean it. I would do that to give up my own life to save her life, because in many ways I've always felt that we're very linked and we're very close. And I remember growing up, she always said to me, I always wanted to be a boy because I wanted to be your brother. And so at this stage I was like, you know, here we are, you know, we've grown up together, and we've both faced challenges. You know, we've both come up from the same dysfunctional parents, with the same dysfunctional relationship that we had with them. But it's not enough for us to give up on life. We've both faced challenges at work. We've both faced challenging relationships that ended. But again, it's not enough for us to give up on life. And so my thoughts for her was, hang in there. We're going to do this. You're going to have a better life. Just hang in there long enough to make it work, and it will come better. You know, life doesn't come with a manual. Life doesn't come with a guidebook. But this book that I've written, this 3 Steps to Inspiration for Life, is a little guide to how you can find inspiration within you and find the voice within, which is what some call intuition. Some call it your spirit, some call it your soul, some call it the voice of God, some call it the voice of the Holy Spirit. Whatever it is for you, whether you're spiritual or religious or non-spiritual or non-religious, and you're a scientific person, it's your own intelligence within you that speaks to you. So this is going to give you a little edge to how to understand, how to listen to that voice, and how to become mindful, and beyond mindfulness, how to connect not only within yourself but connect with others. Thank you, I appreciate it. Jonathan's one of my biggest fans. He's a good man. Thank you. He's a brother from another mother. Thanks guys, I really appreciate you being here and hearing the story that inspired 3 Steps to Inspiration for Life. If you want to get a copy, I'm happy to sign it for you.
What would you say for people like me who are finishing year 12 about finding their inspiration?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. A lot of young people actually are overwhelmed by all the different choices there are. Career choices, they have career advisors, school coordinators, they have their parents' input, and it becomes all too overwhelming. So my biggest suggestion, it wasn't that long ago that I had to go through that myself. I'm only 21, you see. In truth, the biggest thing I can say is take the loving comments from parents, take the loving comments and suggestions from your peers, from your mentors, from all the coordinators, take it all into account. Even sit down with yourself and just write it down as to what their advice is, the best advice. And then think about what you want to do, what you love to do. And think about, if you did what they want you to do, whose values are you living according to? Are you living according to your own values, or are you living according to somebody else's values? You see, one of the biggest disasters that happen to people in their career is they wake up suddenly and they go, why am I a dentist? I never wanted to become a dentist or a pharmacist. Nothing against those professions, they're great professions. But then they realize they injected other people's values into their life and lived by those values. And they're no longer inspired and don't even want to be doing that anymore. And so that's why we hear about people having career crisis or life crisis, right? So instead of going down that path, there's a lot of learnings down that path, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to avoid that, think about, what do I want to do? What would I get up and do? Even for free, I would do it because I love it, because I'm inspired to do it. And think about that, and think if that's a viable career option, a career choice. And go with your heart. That's your inspiration.
All right.
I hope that helps you, Joseph.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hello, my name is Tony. I met Baz this afternoon and had a really good chat to him about his story and why he wrote the book and what inspired him to write the book. I'm really interested in his journey, and I can see lots of merit in his journey of learning about neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotherapy. And I really think in today's world, to deal with some of the stuff that people are dealing with, those tools are going to become more valuable. And I look forward to reading his book and hearing him speak in the next few minutes.
Hello, my name is Christy. I have read 20 pages of Baz's book after a dear friend of mine recommended his book. My friend's been seeing Baz for quite some time now, and he's really helped him, and he's gone through his own healing path. So I've read 20 pages and I was in my spa bath, which was really lovely. It did resonate with me what Baz was saying in the book. However, I need to get back into the book. Today I met Baz and I'm very excited to go on a healing journey and inspire myself to lead an authentic life.